how to become the person you admire most in the world. I want you to think of who this person is for you. Is it a celebrity, like an Oprah? Is it a family member, a parent or a grandparent, maybe a coworker, or perhaps it's someone that you randomly met on the street? Create an image of this person that you greatly admire. Now, let me remind you that you are 99.9% genetically identical to this person. You both have brains and hearts, strengths and weaknesses, temptations and fears. You're human and so are they, and so there's absolutely no reason why you cannot become like the person you admire most. And why wouldn't you strive to become what you perceive as great? Not what others define to be great or admirable, but what you define as great and admirable. Why wouldn't you strive to become that? And let me clarify, when I say to become the person you admire, I don't mean to become that person quite literally. Of course not. I mean to adopt the qualities that make that person admirable. Listen, by becoming the best version of yourself, and that doesn't mean perfection, okay? We will all fall short. We all have weaknesses, but it's the endeavor of bettering yourself that will transform your life in ways that you cannot imagine. And it will touch everyone who has the pleasure of knowing you. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips on how you can become the person you admire. Number 1, turn your cants into cans. So the other night, I was quite tired and feeling lazy, and so there was a lot of things that I knew I should do that I didn't want to do. So I started saying my I can'ts out loud. I can't empty the dishwasher, I can't brush the dog, I can't read my book or do anything productive, I can't do the laundry, I can't brush my hair or wash my face. And because I was saying them out loud, unconsciously of course, Stefan was able to bring my awareness to it. And he's like, hey, you know, you're saying you can't a lot. And so it was in that moment of awareness that I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, these are all limiting beliefs. All these I can'ts, they're just limiting beliefs, because of course I can do it. I just choose not to because I feel lazy. And so then I had a decision to make. And so I decided that I want to shatter those limiting beliefs because it's not serving me in my life. When there are things that I know I should do and I'm not doing them because of my I can'ts, then that's a limiting belief that I want to eradicate. And the solution is simple. It's very simple. Do the things that you say you can't do. So I started doing all of it. I emptied the dishwasher. I cleaned the whole damn house. I did everything that I said I couldn't do. And whenever I would unconsciously say either out loud or in my mind an I can't, then I would push myself to do the thing that I said I can't do. And that went on the entire evening, and I actually was energized from all of the doing that was going on. And so I developed a new belief. So rather than a limiting belief, I eradicated those limiting beliefs. I developed a new belief that I can do the things that I want to do, even if I'm feeling tired and lazy. And the question for you is, what are the things that you say I can't to? Or maybe it's not I can't. Maybe for you it's, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like walking the dog. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like doing this, doing that. You know, if you know there are things that you should do because they're actually going to improve your life and help you on some level, then these stories that we create of why we aren't doing them are just that. They're stories. And we can rewrite the script. We can tell a new story. There's one of my favorite songs by Trevor Hall. It goes, oh no, 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 you just gotta let that old story go. And that's exactly what we need to do. We have a story of our lives that is on repeat, and even on a day-to-day stories that we tell ourselves, and we can create a new narrative that's gonna better serve us. So turn your can'ts into cans, and you're gonna feel a lot more accomplished and confident about yourself, because in those moments in the past, you would make excuses, but now you're actually swapping those excuses for action, and you're going to feel good about that. And it's going to get you one step closer to becoming the person that you admire. Now, a pro tip for you. If you find oftentimes there are things that you know you should do that you're trying to avoid, well, it's simple psychology. Human beings, we try and move towards things that will bring us pleasure and away from things that will cause pain. And we oftentimes do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And so if there's something that you know you should be doing, but you always put it back because you don't want to do it, then the secret is to link more pleasure to doing that. So if it is like cleaning the house, if you know you should be cleaning the house more often, then try and create more pleasure. Try and make it a more enjoyable experience. Maybe turn on some music, maybe dance while you're doing it. Maybe you can think of ways to link more pleasure to the act of cleaning the house. And that's going to make it a little bit easier to get yourself to actually do it. Number 2, be impeccable with your word. Your word is a representation to the outer world of who you are inside. What you say and the words you choose to say are very important. In Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The 4 Agreements, I strongly recommend reading it. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. He says that your words are like magic. They have the ability to create good in the world or to create chaos and spread negativity. And you have the choice. What do you want to use your words? Do you want to use them for good? Or do you want to use them to spread chaos and negativity? Personally, I'm very conscious of my environment, who I spend time with. As you guys know, whether you're conscious of it or not, the people you surround yourself with will have an impact on you. They will influence you for better or for worse. And if I am in a group where people are gossiping or judging, then I will either remove myself from the group or I will tell them that I don't want to have any part of this conversation. You're free to say what you want, of course, but I don't have to participate in it. And oftentimes my stance and stating my position on the gossiping and the judgment dissolves that conversation. Or I can remove myself. And most often it just doesn't happen anymore because I'm not surrounding myself with people who are participating in using their words in perhaps a negative way. So be conscious of the words that you choose to use and how you use them. In our society, every word has a charge so powerful that there are some words that we as a society will suppress, that we can't even say because they are so triggering. So you have to understand the significance of that and the power of that and how that has an implication on your life. So what you choose to say has more of an effect than you may realize. And remember that there are some things that you can say that you can never take back. Words that once have been spoken, you can never take back. So be more aware, more conscious of what you're saying. Also, understand that your words are a fundamental piece of integrity, of being a person of integrity. So when you make a verbal commitment to someone, I'm going to be there at 11 a.m. Be there at 11 a.m. because you made a commitment. You used your words. And if you can't be there at 11 a.m., then you can still be in integrity by using your words to notify that person in advance and let them know that you're not able to attend. But it's important that whatever commitments you break, whatever promises you made, that you keep them. Because if you're not in integrity, then you lose self-esteem. And if you are in integrity and you maintain integrity, you build confidence in yourself. You build self-esteem and you become the person that you admire. Number 3, stop saying no, start saying yes. So this one kind of came to me because I was thinking about how life just gets better when you actually start saying yes. Sometimes I will get into a period where I don't want to do anything. I say no to hanging out with friends, no to going out, no to trying something new, no to starting something, a new hobby. And what ends up happening is when you keep saying no, then you end up waking up and living the same day over and over again, and you end up living a very boring life. When I think about, for example, Oprah, a lot of people admire Oprah, part of the reason why she is so admirable is because of her knowledge that she only acquired through life experience, through saying yes to interviews. She came from very humble beginnings, and she pushed herself and she said yes to opportunities. And what happens when you say no all the time is that you cut yourself off from growth, because it's only through growth that we can evolve and we can become more than we currently are. And so I would encourage you to start saying yes more often. Sometimes I think that as we get older, we start saying no more often. Kids are always like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And sometimes we need to adopt more of that in our lives. And so when you say yes more often, yes to experiences, life becomes so much more meaningful and so much more fulfilling. You feel more alive because you're actually living, right? Your experience, living life is experiencing life. And that comes with saying yes. There's a movie called Yes Man. I forget how it ends, but basically this guy, he's always says yes to everyone, and it's quite entertaining. But, of course there are limits on that, but do say yes to the things that you think are going to serve you in your life, even if you don't feel like doing them. That's the thing, is that it's building that momentum, it's building that habit, because it's easy to say, again, I don't feel like it, but then you're cutting yourself off, you're limiting yourself from experiencing something that could be great, that could be the best day of your life, something transformative, from developing a hobby that can open doors to new adventures. So start saying yes. Number 4, develop awareness. Awareness always precedes change. I'm going to say it again because it's really important that you get this. Awareness always precedes change. If there is anything in your life that you want to change, you first need to develop a level of self-awareness around what needs to be changed in order to make those changes. So, in other words, awareness, developing your level of awareness, self-awareness, is very important to grow, to continue to progress in your life. And the cool thing is that awareness is kind of like a skill that you can develop. It takes practice and it takes time, but you can develop your level of self-awareness. And awareness can actually help alleviate suffering in your life. Sometimes you hear the saying that ignorance is bliss, but in some contexts I can agree with that, but oftentimes ignorance can create suffering. Not being aware of what's going on in your life can create suffering. So maybe there's something about yourself that you're currently unaware of that is causing pain in your life, but if you can draw awareness to it, then you can actually take steps to making changes, getting help. So for example, let me try and give you an example here. If you find that oftentimes when you're in a group of friends that you can get into very argumentative situations, get into conflicts, maybe you get a little bit aggressive, you say things oftentimes that you don't mean, maybe you get kicked out of parties, or you show up in environments and conflict seems to arise. Well, without awareness, you think that, oh, it's other people's fault. But with self-awareness, you can actually ask yourself, well, what's my part in this? There's always two sides to the bread, no matter how thin you slice it. What's my side? What's my part in this conflict? What's my part in this situation? And then you can maybe notice something that was hiding before, that you were unconscious of before. Maybe there's some trauma from the past. Maybe there's something that's a trigger, that when somebody says or does something or even looks a certain way, it's a trigger for you that causes you to react in a different way. And once you have awareness around that, you can now break those patterns, break those habits with the awareness. Even like being aware of just how humans work. For example, I know that on YouTube, you get a lot of positivity, also a lot of negativity on all social platforms. But I understand that oftentimes when people leave really negative comments, it has less to do with the person that they're commenting about and more to do with them. If they're in a really happy mood, a positive state, most people oftentimes will comment something positive because they had a great day. But if people are in a really shitty mood, had the worst day ever, then they want to project their emotions onto others and bring others down so that they can feel better about themselves or bring others down to their level. And so they'll comment hate or negativity. So it really has less to do with me or the people that, they're interacting with online. It has more to do with them. So me having the awareness of that actually helps me as someone who is a content creator because I don't take things personally, the good or the bad. Thank you very much for the good comments. I appreciate them, but I don't take any of it personally because nobody online really knows who I am. And remember that about all the people that you follow. The people that you follow, they will only share with you their persona. They'll only share with you part of them that they want to share with you. They don't share with you everything. Everyone has hidden secrets about themselves, hidden things that they don't want the world to know. Some people are more transparent than others, of course, but always remember that because sometimes we put influencers or celebrities on this pedestal and we think that they're so amazing and fantastic and have their whole world figured out and perfect, and nobody's like that, right? So if that's what you're getting, then that's just the projection, that's the persona that they're sharing with you. But anyways, it helps me as an influencer tremendously to have that level of awareness around psychology and just how people work, especially online. So awareness is very important to make sure that you spend time to develop that. Number 5, model the person you admire most. So in business, I often talk about how valuable it is to model other businesses. Most entrepreneurs, most business owners aren't the pioneers in their field. They follow a path that had already been paved. And the benefit of that is that there are other companies, other people who are further ahead than them, more successful than them. And so they can learn from them. They can model them. And modeling them does not mean copying them. Copying oftentimes doesn't get you very far because why do we need 2 apples? No, we have an Apple, we've got a Microsoft. Some people like Apple, some people like Microsoft, and plenty of other companies as well, of course. So the idea is to model them to see what works for them. What are the qualities that we can pull, that we could apply to our lives that will benefit us personally. And so I recommend extracting what you can from the person that you admire, and maybe not all of it will be applicable to you based on your goals, your personal goals in life. But it's good to kind of try and imagine, what is it that they believe, or, based on what I do know about them, what might be their value structure? Meaning, what are their values and what's the order of their values because the order will determine a lot of the decisions that they make, the actions that they take. And so you can try and kind of dissect this model, this person that you admire, to try and understand them better. And then maybe through that, there are some things that you can pull that you can apply to your life to help you. For me personally, someone I admire deeply is Jesus. Jesus, the only sinless man to have walked on earth. And the reason I admire him so much is because, wow, what a great example of love. Great example of forgiveness. A great example of sacrifice. So he's up here, and this is a standard I'm never going to be able to attain because I'm human, I am weak, I have challenges, and that's okay. I'm never going to attain perfection, but it's not a bad thing to have something so great to strive towards, because even though I will fail and I will stumble, when I have this model that's so beautiful, I will always pick myself back up and try to become more, try to give more, try to love more, try to share more, try to be more truthful, more honest, try to love my parents more, to, be the best version that I can be on this planet. So the idea is to create qualities that you aspire to grow into. And it's always about the journey, never the destination. So make sure that you're appreciating and enjoying the journey every single day. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Those are my 5 tips for you. I have more, but I wanted to keep this short because I do a lot of long videos. But I would love to know what your tips are. Do you have anything that you would like to add to this list? Share it with me in the comments below. Also, let me know which of these 5 ones resonated with you most. I would love to know. And if you wouldn't mind disclosing who is the person that you admire most, I would love to know that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.